right, so we are this morning going to be, as I said, going into the Hebrew Scriptures. And this is the story of how God chose little David to be the king of Israel. The story is in the Bible, and you're going to find it if you want to look at it later at 1 Samuel chapter 16. Now this story tells us how David was chosen. But the Bible leaves this gap. It doesn't tell us why. So for thousands of years, people of this book have wondered, what was it about this little boy that God chose him over everybody else to be the leader of God's people? So we're going to tell this story together using, it's actually an ancient Midrash come to the 21st century. Some of you know, in this congregation at least, that Midrash is when people find the holy gap in the story and fill it with something beautiful that just might be true. So that's what we're going to do this morning. So I have a Samuel. I think I may even, no, I have a Samuel. It's good. If I have a Samuel's help, oh, that's cute. All right. I have a God. Yes, I have a God. And I'm going to need your help for the rest of it. I'm going to need some angels, and I'm going to recruit the choir. It's good for you to think that way. Angels. And if anybody else wants to be an angel this morning, that's where you need to go. Lovely. So, some angels. I'm also going to need, now you may change your mind when I read the next bit of this, but I'm also going to need some citizens of Bethlehem. And you're going to be part of a parade. So if you want to be a citizen of Bethlehem, sit in the pews. Thank you so much that we have so many of you who volunteered to do this. This is awesome. Okay, I also need someone to be the patriarch, Jesse. I need a patriarch, Jesse. And a matriarch, Mrs. Jesse. You laughed too loud, Mrs. Jesse. So Elsa's going to be Mrs. Jesse. Tim, oh, okay, all right. Well, yes, let's not mess with, okay. You can stay seated for a minute because God hasn't decided on you yet. But anyway, I need you. And I'm also going to need, especially seminary student type people who are sons and daughters of Jesse, and a whole lot of others besides. So if you ever feel like you need to come back down to earth and be something else, that's fine. All right, so are we pretty much ready to start the story? I think so. A story, a story.
Let it come, let it go.
A story, a story.
Let it come, let it go.
A story, a story.
Let it come, let it go.
So back in days long, long, long ago, when Israel was just a tiny little kingdom squeezed between the sea on one side and the desert on the other, God was sad. She was sad because tiny Israel had a king who wasn't very good at being a king. He was tall and strong, and he wore shiny armor. But he wasn't very wise. And he wasn't very kind. And he had this habit of taking the best of everything from everyone. The best fruit, the best horses, the best houses, and keeping them for himself. And he was terrible at listening to God. So this made not only God sad, but the people sad too. they grumbled among themselves. A lot. Now one day, as the sun was setting, painting the sky pink and the desert red, God said to no one in particular,
"It's time I find Israel a new king."
Now, some angels heard that and they asked God, "What's up?"
It's time I found Israel a new king, but I don't know quite what I'm looking for.
So one angel said,
Why don't you pick somebody tall and strong with shiny armor? Oh, right. You did that already, didn't you? Sorry.
So the angels, they fluttered. The angels, they fluttered, thank you. And they made all sorts of suggestions to God about what sort of king God might choose. Now you have to know that most of these suggestions weren't very helpful. Until one angel, whose wings were a bit bent with age. Don't burn yourself on the candle there, angel. And whose eyes were deep and dark and darting like those of an eagle scanning the horizon. This angel coughed and said, hold that mic to his mouth.
Why don't you pick a king like you, Holy One?
Like me? What do you mean?
You, Holy One. You're a bit wild and free. You dream wonderful dreams. And you're so creative.
Now at that suggestion, all the other angels and a few people in Bethlehem as well joined in singing. You spin stars and flake snow. You make music with the wind. You paint stripes on a zebra. You dip the parrot's beak in pots of gold and fill the earth with amazing creatures, whales, rats, buffaloes, and frogs. A few ribbits would be fine at this point. Then the old angel shushed them and said to God,
Pick a king who's wild and free like you, who can see your beauty in the world, who is creative, and who can dream your dream.
Okay, the bent angel flies back to his place in heaven now. The bent angel flies back to his place in heaven now. So, God did. And this is how. God called out from heaven to her ancient, wise old prophet, Samuel.
Samuel.
Samuel came slowly. His bones were old.
Samuel, it's time for a new king for Israel.
I don't think he can hear you. I'd wait till
Samuel, it's me, God. It's time for a new king.
Hey!
Israel. Israel?
Hey, oh, hey.
Go, find one for me. Samuel.
Hey, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, God?
No.
If so, kill me if I try to find a new king to replace him.
to be led by those who are free and creative and who can dream God's dream. So God told Samuel,
Samuel, go to Bethlehem. Hold a festival, a great big holy celebration. Invite everyone in town, everyone. And while you're there, call for Jesse. Jesse's wife. Call for Jesse's wife. And all of Jesse's children. You will find them. This one's a party. I will find my new ruler among them. Just listen to me, Samuel, and I will tell you which one.
Okay,
Listen.
that's good. Going to Bethlehem. Make it a party. Too old for this stuff.
So Samuel walked to Bethlehem, fortunately not that far. And everyone joined in this holy celebration with noisemakers and tambourines. So Samuel watched as Jesse and Mrs. Jesse and their children. Okay, we need some children here, thank you. Bruce Walsh, I actually need you to be one of their children. I'm sorry, but I have a role for you. I meant it. This is great. All right. So join the line up there. Can you go just after Raphael? Some tall guy with a blue shirt. Thank you. All right. Where was I? Yes. So Samuel watched as Jesse and Mrs. Jesse and their children came to the celebration, and he called them forward, one by one. Stand back here. His eyes watching keenly while his ears listened for God's whisper. It's okay, come back. It's okay, I know you don't know what you're doing. That's okay. It was like a parade. Eliab came first.
Hey, he looks pretty regal.
Nope. I've gone off rulers who look regal. They only rule for themselves.
Next.
Next.
What about this one? Good.
I don't think so.
Blue's not a good color.
No, Samuel, no.
Next.
Next came Abinadab, short and stocky, like a builder.
What about this one?
No. Builders should build things. Let's not distract him with ruling, shall we?
Thanks for coming out. You're gone.
You go. Next came Shammah, twirling and dancing and laughing and smiling at everyone. Here, I'll twirl with you. Twirl. There we go. Carry on, God.
Wow.
No. Such a happy soul won't want to do the hard work. Leave them to be happy. The world can use some of that.
Okay, off you go. Now, I've run out of children, but I need some more. On they came, each of them with different skills and talents. Yes. Until everyone had passed by Samuel, who was exhausted. Oh, Keep going. There's a few more. Yeah, I heard that. You can sit down now, actually, if you would like. So, where were we? Yes. Samuel, who is now exhausted, and if truth be known, so was God.
Jesse! Jesse! You got any more kids?
Actually, there was one more. There was one more.
There is one more.
David.
David?
Okay, you can go sit down. David was young. Just a boy. Hair and freckles and broken toenails and an elbow poking out of his coat and a slingshot tucked in his belt. Where was he? He's out in the fields taking care of the sheep. David was good at keeping an eye on the creatures but not bossing them too much. Egg shot. Which gave him lots of time to perfect his watermelon pit spitting. And his skill with a slingshot? Amazing! He could hit the right buttock of a wandering sheep at 200 paces every time. And he could dream. He could see elephants in the clouds. He could draw castles in the air. He wrote stories in the sand. And he twirled and danced like nobody's watching. And he sang. And oh, how he sang. Make a joyful noise, all here. Worship your God with gladness. Make a joyful noise, all here. Come to this place with a song. That's the one. Whispered God, clapping with joy and causing a thunderstorm. Just
Anoint that one with oil, for this child, this wild, free, creative child can see the beauty of this earth and can create worlds from the sand. This child, like me.
where did Samuel go? Samuel, you're not done yet.
It's the boy David.
It's okay. You just need this. You just need to dab a few people right now, like that. Okay, thank you. So Samuel, not quite sure, did as God told him. And he anointed David. Every David. Every creative, wild, free, dreaming soul with the oil of anointing. And this, O best beloveds, is the testimony